boy flight. Metz and Trix on the mic tonight. This goes out to the girls in the barn, to the back, to the middle, to the left.
Guys, welcome to Brit Asia TV's Untouchable reunion. Now, as we've watched the previous episodes, we've grabbed as many of the original clique as we have, and to be honest, we're lucky to be joined today by the dynamic duo, Metz and Trix. Boys.
Yo man, what you saying, brother? Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us here, man.
We've got Brit Asia TV.
You got us here in the end, man.
You know what? And the
I
thing
gotta
is,
respect it, man,
you're
because
not
you
the
know
only
what, fair
guys,
play
like,
to you.
it's not been easy to grab everyone.
No, you know what? It's been hard actually, because Metz has told me about this. That yo, listen, they're doing an Untouchable reunion thing. They want to come and do an interview, blah blah blah. I was like, listen, let's set it up. Let's get around to doing it. But obviously, we've had a pretty hectic schedule for the last, since COVID. Really, we've had a pretty hectic schedule since we've been back out here releasing some music and stuff. It's been really cool, man, since COVID, really. So
But you know what?
glad
That
you got in
defines
touch. And
the success of the Untouchables camp. You look at, every artist that came from the camp, you guys are still performing. It's been over 20 years. I'd say 80% of that camp, you're still performing.
you know what? We're actually very blessed, and it's more and more now. We can see that era of music and sound. It was a great era to be part of. You know what I mean?
I think it still is a great era. A lot of people talk about it in the past tense, but it still is a great era.
It still is an amazing genre. Good point, Matt.
It's a great era.
Good point, because you make
so many massive artists active, and still the sound when you hear it now is timeless. Like people, you can play it now with all the current songs. It's mixing. Do you know what I'm saying? It's still in all the dance floors. Which
is mad, isn't it? Because when we first started out making them songs back then with Untouchables, the Untouchables camp,
a big camp.
You know what I mean? In Leeds and Bradford. So shout out the Yorkshire Massive. You know what I mean? We spent a lot of time there recording. We didn't think that your music was going to be around still now, and the tunes are still getting blasted, the tunes are still getting played. Artists are performing them all around the world, which is crazy. It's humbling and it's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Because look, it's a tough game, the music industry. You get what I mean? Like somebody once told me, you know what I mean? Like it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you know what I mean? We're blessed to still be here, because we just come from a show now, and it was crazy.
Let's take it back to the start, man, like with the Untouchables camp, right? So the North, and I've said this in every interview so far, you had nothing in terms of like musical presence. No, it's true.
There was the rain and cold.
Yeah, there was no kind of record label. Like you look at most record labels, it was Midlands or London based. Northern acts, they were there, but there was no kind of awareness.
Yeah, no, I think historically, Punjabi music, Bhangra music, anyway, was always coming from Midlands and down south. That's where everybody is. Even if you go back
prominently
in time,
Birmingham.
Even if you go back in time to the bands, Alarps, DCSs, B21s, you go back, and even like Indy Sagu, Apache Indian, Punjabi MC, where they all come from. They all come from Midlands or down south. So you're right, the North really didn't have a champion or a set of champions or artists that were coming out. Do you know what I mean?
But then, when the Untouchables kind of camp started, how did you guys kind of fall into the mix? Because obviously, Untouchables was a promote PR company first. They did like little dinner dances, events, etc.
Well, that's it.
Then they transitioned into the music side of things.
Yeah.
But when did Metz and Trix actually link up and fall part of Untouchables? Like, what was your journey into it?
To be honest, I blame Surinder Ratan. Surinder Ratan is the catalyst of that, because we did our first music with him. We did the lick, the Tappe, and when we did that video, Tappe, RDB were in that video. That's where we met RDB. Surinder introduced us to RDB, Cully, Man, Surge. So they were involved in that video, and from there, me and Cully hit it off. We got talking.
Musically, innit? Just musically,
He loved garage music.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, you guys are sick, And we this conversation just started from there. And then somehow we landed with Cully on Roundhay Road in the studio, because he was telling me that he was setting a studio up with Untouchables, with Tony.
Yeah, because that's, like I said, the Untouchables, they were well-known promotion company. So they did a lot of the shows around the northwest, basically Manchester, Sheffield, Leeds, Bradford. Do you know what I mean? So So you can see where it made natural sense for them, because after because at that point, like I said, there was no songs out from Untouchables. The first record came out with us was Put Sadar on their first album that we released, Untouchables, RDB debut album. But before that, it was just really the Lick and Ambasaria was smashing it. And at that point, there's nothing been made at that point. But obviously, like I said, Metz and Cully, we all used to chill together. Do you get what I'm saying? And
to put Sadar on there, I think
that musical back. Yeah, well, that Put Sadar came about after these guys made the Lick, and then it was kind of like a natural follow-up. Cully was like, "Yo, Metz, I've made another, sick garage beatline." And obviously, Metz at that time was the king of garage. You get what I mean? So he knew about garage music, and Metz was like, "Yo, this is sick,"
And I actually recorded Put Sadar on it, so there was no Trix on it originally. Originally, it was me.
You know that the definition of RDB, right, was originally rhythm, dual bass.
Yeah.
And then you made it into R.
Yeah.
No, it's R. It's the roller coaster. It's the Biggie Danger. It's the bass blood pressure. Because in those days, like when you were MCing, guys, acronyms and short little stutters, and that was the style in it. So,
but it was a mad record we recorded. I remember recording it in the house in Bradford. At that point, we didn't even have a studio then. We were just like, it was a basement that they made the studio in the basement. And it was tiny. Do you remember we went and recorded in the tiny
house? Yeah, in the house.
It was tiny, bless them.
And then we went to the studio.
We knew when we recorded it then that, yo, this is sick. You know what I mean? Like,
because what had happened is Tony from Untouchables had set up a record shop that was selling cassette CDs in the Leeds area, and then in the back he had an office, and then RDB had the studio, and that's where we basically sat down and Cully said, right, Metz and Trix, the album, what do you think? We wanted to do an album. We told Tony we want to do an album. We sorted out a deal and we did it, and RDB, Cully.
Yeah, but obviously that was after
Put
Sadar, and then obviously that first album, it was going crazy, innit? At that point, mate, that whole album was an amazing album. It was going crazy, so like, I think, and after that, there was a lot of offers at that point, but, at that point, because we had such a great relationship with Cully, we were like, yeah, let's do this, you know what I mean? Let's get on board.
One of the reasons we're doing this is to honour kind of Cully's life. And everyone who's spoken so far just mentions just Cully as a person. How was he to work with? Like,
I was really fortunate because I got to travel the world with him. Not as much as I wanted to, but I went to Canada.
You and him first went Canada?
Yeah, I went Canada.
These two guys first went Canada.
Yeah, because there was quite a few of us, to be fair.
Bless you behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did at that point. Yeah, they did. No, but you know what I mean? Like, at that point, like you said, you have to remember, innit? We didn't realise, but I suppose we didn't really know then. We was young, but we was actually building a massive scene.
Yeah.
We didn't know that, we did know because it was going global. Do you know what I mean? And we always knew that, listen, you know what it is with this sound? It could definitely work globally, you get what I mean? Like, so that's why when a gig would come in, come from Canada,
it was crazy.
You'd go out
Canada,
there. Do you know what I mean?
A massive Punjabi
community,
community there, and they've been so integrated, and like they've been there for a while, and they loved their Bhangra music. And you had, we met Pama Sarai there. I met Sukhbir, the promoters there. I met Mitch, the door player. Yeah, Mitch, he was a crazy door player. So that scene there was developing, and I think Cully identified that.
Yeah.
He straight away he knew, right, I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna embed the RDB brand here, and I got music, and I got a catalogue, and and he wanted to do everything, the production, the releasing the music,
the
videos,
the
shows there, do the videos there, and he did. Do you know what I mean? He did. And so just saying to you, I went to Canada. I was also fortunate. I went Austria. I'm so lucky to have travelled Europe with him. I didn't even know where Austria was. When we went there, went Vienna, we performing, and for me it was crazy. Like performing our music and to a non-Asian crowd. It's mad. It was madness. It was like, and they're raving to it, and they're loving it, and they didn't even understand the lyrics. Do you know what I mean? That's a mad feeling, because that's what music does to you, innit? And that's what he did. That's the power he had. He had that vision. He knew. He was very skilled. He was creative. He was a genius, isn't it? Far ahead of his time.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people said. But one question which it's not something that I want to ask, but I kind of have to is, when Kuli passed away, how did it impact you guys in terms of your music? Because him passing for us fans and the industry was a shock.
It was a major loss, isn't it? It was a major loss to everybody. We lost a very talented, genius producer. What I'm saying, well ahead of his time. And it was a big loss to everybody. And that there was an amazing video we all did together. Did the song, the Kuli tribute song, doing it big. I remember going down for the video shoot. Everybody was there. It was amazing to see. You know what I mean? Like everyone coming together, and it showed you how much, love and how much impact he had with everybody. You know what I mean? Because for us, he was definitely, one of the integral producers of Asian Punjabi music in the country at the time. You know what I mean? So
is it fair to say that he was a gel in Untouchables and kind of gelled everyone together?
Absolutely.
100%, man. He was the eldest, innit? He was the eldest. He had the vision. It was amazing because we were lucky because we spent time with him while he was at uni in Middlesbrough. So we always used to go down in it and chill with him in his uni in Middlesbrough. And we did some next level shows there as well. That's what I'm saying to you. So wherever we would go, we would always make sure we'd be out there pushing ourselves, pushing our sound, pushing our music. And I always still remember the sick club.
Yeah, it was a wicked club.
It was a sick club.
That was another thing. In that era, we had a lot of leisure clubs, which they don't really exist anymore. And those clubs, they're like super clubs, and we dominated. Those
you get 2,000, 3,000 people in them, we dominated. They shut down now, they don't exist no more, which also makes the era another next level golden era because you had Equinox, Hippodrome, Eros, these are mad.
Destiny.
That's just London. But what about like Leicester,
Evolution.
Midlands, Birmingham? There's so many that shut them down.
Majestic.
But just think that's where we was doing all our shows, and you can see now where this era now they doesn't have that scene on because the model's changed in it now, innit? You know what I mean? Of how people go out there, it's like, it's different now, but, that was a crazy time, what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, so let's talk about Aja Mahi, right? So Aja Mahi, phenomenal track. It blew up to, huge heights globally. Even now, it has the hook line, everything. What's the story behind that track? Because everyone has their own version of that track.
They do.
I'll tell you the truth.
Is it true?
What's your version? I don't know. You know what it is? I'll be honest with you. There's that many versions now. I just like to hear them all. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'll tell you. I'll tell you my version. He can tell you his version. My version is we were fresh off Danger, banging album, #1 album in the country. Danger
Look, just to jump in on Danger. You know how sick of album Danger is, isn't it? It's like this, isn't it? Danger never had a video.
Yeah. Not one
That's
video.
probably the only album
ever
in the industry, or that I know of, or someone can tell me, that has anyone else ever released the album without video, and smashed it.
For me,
do you understand? Because you have to remember, now you can't do that now because everyone has to put the video out, make it sick. This and that, you know what I mean? So you need it now, innit? But that just showed you, at that time, we all knew that, and even they knew, you know what I'm saying? Untouchables knew that, we don't even need to put a video out for this album. This is how hot Metz and Trix are.
No, because I remember Jatt More, the TV show.
Not the music, brother.
Jatt More, when they had their kind of top 10.
Yeah.
It was literally just your album cover.
Yeah.
And they showed it in the charts.
Because there's no video. There's no video in it.
I personally, I was heartbroken that I never got a video for Danger. Any of the songs.
Was there a reason why?
Untouchables being tight.
Because Tony didn't want to do it.
Was it an album that they didn't think would be as successful as it
No,
was?
I think at that point, I think Metz and Trix sound on the Punjabi songs was smart. By that point, by Danger, we had, you know, there was like a list of tunes he's got. We've got the lick tune, there's a tune with excellency, there's a tune, Amber Sadia's going off differently. You know, there was a few tunes, Pussadaran, there was out, you know, there was like 4 or 5 tunes already out before Danger, and they all had videos. To be fair to all them other tunes, they had videos in it. They was blowing up, you know, the lick was like classic video, you know what I'm saying? Amber Sadia is a classic now as well. But Pussadaran, there's next level video, you know, Cully directed it. You know, say Mr. B in that, yeah. But, so these all had videos. So by the time it come to Danger, they didn't need to do nothing as a label. Untouchables as a label, they didn't even have to invest in a video because they knew, yo, this is going to be flying.
So,
and that was the case. You get what I mean?
The point, how and the truth of what had happened is, Danger did really, really well. In my eyes, I think it did phenomenally well, and we didn't get what we were promised, and I wanted to leave Untouchables.
What was it you were promising?
Well, money. You know, it's financial, isn't it? If you're not...
Was that deal less, you know what I mean? Don't say it like that. It's like, look, the deal didn't work out the way that the deal was supposed to go down, innit? You get what I mean?
The truth is, the deal didn't work out. Financially, it didn't work out. Yeah? So I wanted to, me and him, we wanted to leave.
And this is like, obviously now, when an artist puts out a song, etc., their main source of income is then through gigs and shows, etc. Was that the same business model back then? Like when an album drops, your revenue is expected to come through your shows?
Well, no, because in our era, we were relying on CD sales. Yeah, and CD sales, when you walked into a shop and bought a CD, it cost £10, £8, £10, £12, whatever it was. You know,
yeah, no, but at that point is this though, innit? Depending on the deal that you had with the labels, at that point, labels and they used to run the market, innit? You get what I'm saying? So artists, you'd go in and do a deal with a label, it'll be an album deal, 2 album deal, 3 album deal, whatever it is, and they'll pay you a certain amount, whatever, and that's that, you're done, innit? And so whatever the sales are, you don't really know about it because you've had your payment of how many albums. Well, that's how the deals used to go down then.
But for me,
that deal wasn't like that. That deal wasn't like that.
I was on it.
We were breaking the market.
Studying musical law, musical copyright law, what belonged to me, royalties, all of this. So I was in tune to this, and I was learning about it because I didn't have a manager. Me and Trix didn't have a manager, so I had to educate myself about all of that. So the bottom line is, I didn't get what I was promised, and I wanted to leave Untouchables. And Tony said, well, I'm not going to let you leave. I was like, well, we want to leave. He goes, all right, I'll let you leave, but we've still got one more song to do. I'm like, okay, one more song. He's like, yeah, I'll let you leave, but you've got to record one more track for us. And the irony, and it's just the way it happened, that song was Aja Mahi. So we recorded Aja Mahi, which then went on Danger 2 album. That's why our album, Metz and Trix, was Danger.
That had the video though, they used that the video.
And a Danger 2, and we did a video. And that
terrible video though.
Yeah. A very
look back at that one, it's like classic though now, isn't it?
Yeah, no, who's the creative brains behind that video?
Cully and the team, and Cully's people. That was there, and it was.
I don't know, was it? I don't know. I think Cully might have left it to the other lot of these. Was it? I'm not sure.
And Indy, there's all of them.
Anyway, yeah. But no, yeah.
It was all of them because that shot.
It was dodgy now, innit?
It looks,
We're all the friends, innit? They're all friends. They're all a clique. You know what I mean? But it's a great video, like funny if you look back at it. You know what I mean? We just turned up, came with our swag in it. You know what I mean? And it was shot in the Hilton, Bradford.
But in terms of recording, when the song actually got recorded, that was at that point, like I think, because we were still down, we still loved Cully, so we'd just go and sit in the studio with him. And at the point, I think he just played us something. I think he played us that the beat of the Aja Mahi, because he'd already been working on it.
So who produced it then?
Cully. Yeah. Okay. He'd already been doing it.
Yeah.
And then I think, I said, right, listen, we just went in the booth. You know what I mean? I said, right, we'll just spit something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Freestyled it. And
the hook line came from you guys.
Yeah. That order came in from went in there straight away. This goes out to the, you know what I mean? And it was Cully was like, wicked, got it. Boom, boom. Came back, next day heard it, you know, and they had already had Manj singing on it. But I think they had somebody else originally, but then they got, I think Manj sang it, but I can't remember.
I remember Cully's dad, Manj's dad, Serge's dad, he wrote Aja Mahi.
Well,
he definitely contributed and wrote some of them lyrics, I remember.
Well, at that point, we were just listening to this tune in the studio, Oslo, and you know what I mean? We were like, yo, this is sick. Do you know what I mean?
The dad doesn't get much recognition in terms of his
legend.
contribution. But he wrote
quite a lot of some of the stuff, yeah. But you know what? They're very good. You know what? Bless them. It's a musical family, though. Do you know what I mean? So, like, you know, they've always had a very musical family, the brothers, and which is, you know, always helped them along, as you can see. You get what I mean?
So that song, kind of after that, then you guys left Untouchables after Aja Mahi.
Yeah.
Did you?
Because no, we didn't leave. We just didn't continue.
Oh, we did leave. We left our deal because we went to Movie Box.
Yeah, obviously, innit? That's what I'm saying. So that deal finished, innit?
Yeah.
But then, did you regret leaving?
No.
Like it was closure, basically.
Yeah, no, not at all. You know what I mean? Because at that point, you know, we were at a different, you know, a lot of labels were after us at that point. So, you know what I mean? And, you know, at that point, Movie Box was the biggest label in Birmingham, you know what I mean? So we went with, we signed a deal with Movie Box, which was amazing because we got to do tracks with, like, you know, a lot of big Asian artists, you know what I mean? And vocalists.
Namba, Lab Junjua,
Shazia Manzoor,
Gulzar
you know what I mean?
Osman, Abral Haq.
So when you guys kind of left Untouchables, did you still keep in touch with the camp? Or was it kind of or was it a case of like, yo, business, see you later, we're moving on? Because like some people think, obviously, when you leave, that's it. You don't talk to a camp again.
Yeah, no, but I think at that point, you know, it's like everybody started going their own way and doing their own, you know, working their own, working their own brand.
Even
do you get what I'm trying to teach you? Everyone had to go out there and work their own brand, I guess, innit? You get what I mean? And
because even RDB did, you know, Cully was a lot in Canada. He was a lot in Australia. You know, Serge was smashing.
Yeah, because I think after that point they moved to Canada.
Man was doing his thing, so everybody was like spread out, innit?
Yeah.
So everybody was busy doing what they were doing, and we were on our journey, and everybody from there, or it was on their journey.
Because look, for us guys, like, and none of these guys did that, innit? We actually moved to London as Metz and Trix, so we was like 19, 20 years old at that time, but we actually went and lived in London then for 3 years. So we moved, and we knew in it because at that point we was smashing it from the north, but we know if we go to London,
it's
right,
a different game.
It's a different game, you know what I mean? Because London is the capital, and you have to be able to, basically, you have to be able to crack the capital, and you know that's how you do it, innit? Basically, you know what I mean? That's the main thing. You got to be able to. And we was lucky at that time because in London, at that time there was like a ban on in the nightclubs for
garage artists.
Yeah, so all the mainstream kind of garage artists, they weren't allowed to get booked in the Westminster, but we wasn't it. So at that time we was just getting booked left, right, centre. Me, you know what I'm saying? It was like, right, you can't book them, we'll come in and do it. We do exactly the same.
Another good thing that I respect Untouchables for, and Surinder and all these guys, you know, we had that little bit of a connection with Punjabi Hit Squad in London, and they were making big moves, and we did a lot of big tracks with them. And it's the similar sound what was coming out of Untouchables, and they got a little piece of it, and they produced a few bangers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because obviously everybody was influenced from the sounds of the north, innit? Because that came from a lot of people. That came from, you know what I mean, that sound, innit, basically. You know what I mean? And that's where you got to give the credit, like you said, before then, there was nobody in the north representing. Do you know what I mean? It's like you said, there was nobody in it. But now when you talk about Asian music scene, the north is mentioned. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's, you know, and that's a proud thing for the northerners, you know what I'm saying? Because we deserve to be there.
So one of my kind of earliest memories of, you know, Aja Mahi kind of going to that next level was when I went to Bollywood. When Akshay Kumar and the boys, RDB, were performing it. How did that guys make you feel? Like, you know, it's now, the song itself has reached another level. But obviously your vocals weren't used in it.
But they did the raps though, didn't they?
No, but your
They
vocals.
did the raps.
It wasn't like your vocals that were used though, was it?
I can't remember. Was it?
No, let's be real.
Was it?
We were taken off.
There's another version.
Yeah.
There's a version
we
in there.
recorded it.
Yeah.
There's another version in it.
The world knows that they took us off.
Yeah.
And they re-recorded it. And to be honest, how did it make, what my experience of that part of Aja Mahi, it emotionally upset me because I'm in Sheffield backstage at the IFA Awards.
You guys were actually there when it happened?
I was there at the backstage, and then because we were helping the organisers at that time, because we would like in events as well, and they asked us to help, and we were helping out. And I remember us being in the backstage, and all I heard was dum dum dum, and my heart was like, "Yo, that's my tune." I was like, "Yo, my tune's on," and then next thing I know, I'm looking, and I see the RDB brothers, and I see Akshay Kumar. And my heart sank. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is personal now for me. Like, it made me. I was gutted because I was like, "Rah, that's my tune. That's meant to be me. That's meant to be me singing that." And everybody in the arena in Sheffield, they knew that it was us as well. Do you know what I mean? They did, and everyone backstage. Like, I even seen Prince Nassim's brother, the boxer. He was there. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
that should be you. Yo, why are you not singing? And so for me, that was it was an upsetting time for me. But then after I swallowed it, I thought, well, they're singing my bit, innit? That's my bit. That's my
bit. But for me, I had a different look on it because for me, I was a fan of Bollywood all my life growing up, innit? So I always knew it, and I even talked about it with Cully, innit? Like, yo, listen, our tune should be in Bollywood. But like, I even talked about it with labels as well. And I always said to the labels that, yo, listen, you know what it is? Rapping and urban, this style, this is going to be the future of music, innit? Basically, innit? But even the labels at the time, a lot of the people, they said, "No, you know what, Trix, you know what, it's a bit too ahead of its time. It's not going to work in India. It's not for India yet. India not ready yet. Pakistan not ready yet for this, what you guys are doing." You know what I'm saying? I was like, no, I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I personally think that this is it now. You get what I'm saying? This is the wave that is going to continue. And so I was actually buzzing when I seen Akshay on it, because for me, I always thought that, you know what, I could see these Bollywood actors like singing our song, because that's what they do in Bollywood, don't they? They'll sing someone's song and they're on there. You want Amitabh Bachchan or Salman Khan singing, rapping your lyrics. It's amazing. But now, obviously, as you can see, the development of urban music into the Bollywood scene now is massive. Do you get what I'm saying? It's even not just the Bollywood scene, the whole of Punjab, the whole of the music industry is now on an urban level, and the biggest artists out there are MCs and rappers. You got your Badshahs, your Honey Singhs right now, you know what I'm saying? They run the show out there, you know what I'm saying, your Rough Dars and stuff. So, it's for me, it was great to see the evolution of it, innit? Because I had that vision that, this is where this is going to go. So I was actually buzzing about it. Obviously, you feel a little bit gutted that, how can you not put the man's on stage? Because obviously everyone knows we know how to rock a show. You get what I'm saying? And that's it. So, but, it happened. And it was an epic moment. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? It was an epic moment, you know what I mean, to be fair.
Did you ever kind of address it with the camp?
No.
Or is it because you've left now? Like,
I think that's it. Because I think once you left and you moved on, in it. Everyone's making their moves now, innit? So you got to make your moves.
If you look at, who do I address it to? You know what I mean? I can't address it, can I? You understand?
But the thing is, innit? That's the thing, innit? That's what you want, innit? That's where really, if there was down, they would be saying, "Yo, Metz and Trix, come and do this."
Come on, you guys.
Do you get me? But obviously, innit?
It didn't happen like that.
At that point, people are building brands. Everybody wants the limelight, bro. Me and Metz, we're blessed in it. Like I was telling somebody before, we're probably one of the most unique artists to come out of the UK in the last 25 years, bro. Do you understand what I'm saying? Straight up, you get what I'm saying? So we was already blessed, but I could see at that time, everybody wanted limelight, innit? Everybody wanted to be the main man, and everybody wanted to be the stars, innit?
Is that in Untouchables?
That's in Untouchables, yeah, man. 100%.
So do you think there's a lot of kind of egos?
Come on, bro. It's music business, bro.
Yeah.
It's built on egos.
Yeah. But how was it trying to work with artists with like other egos?
Look, it's collaborations are. Look, they're interesting in it. Look, for us, we always thought. Look, we always wanted to make the scene bigger, so we always knew we have to collaborate. But within the industry, it's weird, innit? Because people say, "Oh no, you can't really work with that artist," you know, because that's their, you know, their sound, their click. They want to keep it to themselves. But really, we was never like that. We was happy to work with London producers, Birmingham producers.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about is PRS and royalties. So PRS and royalties is something not a lot of artists are aware of, and especially in that era, it was unheard of. So yeah, because what used to happen was, and correct me if I'm wrong, is, you know, you get a lump sum or whatever, you take a lump sum, but you don't look at the royalties, you don't look at the PRS, you don't look at kind of 10 years down the line, 15 years down. Because you know what you guys thought of like streaming services would be around, right? You didn't think there'd be a Spotify, you didn't think there'd be like all this kind of stuff. But how did you guys then kind of clock on that, you know, this is, as an artist, this is what you owed? Or is it something that you just didn't realize?
I was very lucky,
yeah,
and Trix was very lucky that we were in the company of musical solicitors. Yeah, so I had a musical solicitor in Manchester, and he educated both of us about PRS, and friends of ours that were in the music business educated us about PRS. Looked it up, joined it. That's it.
And it's pretty simple, isn't it, really, isn't it? But the thing is, at that time, I think, like, for us, look, as young kids, we were getting into the music business, yeah? And getting into the music business, right? Remember, it's a business, innit? And before us, like you said, innit, in the north, there was nobody. So before us, we didn't even have no peers, innit? Like, to go and chat to and say, ask, you know, what happens in the business, innit? And obviously, behind the business is all this. Like you said, there's a whole mechanical, musical rights society, performing rights society behind it all. Do you know what I mean? There's a whole business behind your music. And like, that's why it's good to tell young artists, like, now, innit? Like, when you're out there and you're going to go into this, you know, like you said, you know, the research is there now. It's really easy now, but, you know, definitely get yourself research into music law, music business, you know, before you kind of get into it, because, like you said, there is a lot of shadiness when it comes to PRS and performing royalties and rights, where, you know, the labels and that lot are basically taking all your money, etc., you know. So, you know, be careful out there. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is, you know, for us, we always promoted it and we wanted everybody to know about it. It was a shock to find out that people didn't know about it. You know what I mean? And it was weird. It was weird that it wasn't, but it's not weird, isn't it? Because it makes sense that the label was making all the dough off it. Why are you going to tell the artist all that stuff? And they're nicely making the dough for it. So it's a bit shadiness from labels, isn't it? You know, so it's, you know, it was down to labels and their integrity. You get me? As a label, innit? You're going to look after the artist.
Yeah. Just outside of the Untouchables camp, yeah, 2 artists that really brought this to light, yeah, was Tiger Style and Punjabi MC. They really did bring it to everybody's ears about, yo, you know what, if I make music, the PRS and the MCPS, you know, that should be mine, yeah. And you know what, I got a lot of respect for Tiger Style, a lot of respect for Raj and Punjabi MC. And present day, I think it's all above board now. Do you know what I mean? But back in those days,
the information
it was a challenge.
Yeah.
It was a challenge, and it was very difficult. And really, you know, PRS needed to take a bit of responsibility as well, because they had a obligation to let people know about it. And the Asian music was in its foundation, wasn't it? It was growing. And if there were certain loopholes, if there were certain things being exploited or whatever, yeah, which I'm sure we all know has gone on all different levels, from not one label, from many labels, yeah, you know, that was just unfortunate.
All right, boys, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, man.
No, thank you for coming down and shedding light.
Yeah, man.
Brilliant. But there's one last question I want to ask you guys. I've asked everyone this. And normally Sharon, but obviously she's out and about looking for Indy Sagu.
How do you do? Hit him with a 1, hit him with a 2.
Yeah, so she's looking for Indy Sagu. She's looking for Ribbon Rider and a few others.
Yeah.
But the one question is, look, in 2023, if we got the whole original camp together, would you guys set up for the reunion?
Of course we will, man.
Who's organising it? I'm there, man. You know, one thing I'm very grateful for is the support Brit Asia has shown us to over the last 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? They've always supported us in some way when we've been at the award shows, parties happening, gigs, music being played. You know, so why not? Why wouldn't we be there?
Yeah, man, it'd be a lit reunion, man.
Yeah.
You know it would be, man.
Our boys,
Let's do it.
Final words, sign off.
Yo, it's your boys, Metz and Trix, live on Brit Asia 0121. You know how we do it. Big yourselves up.
Yo, Brit Asia, Happy New Year to everybody. All the best. God bless. See you soon.